Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here, coming at you with another video. And before we get started, I do want to wish you and yours a very happy new year, and that you receive all the blessings that you deserve over the 2024 year. So I know my last video, I said that was going to be the last video of the year, but I had a couple of things come up which cut my trip a little short, so we had to come back, and I'm kind of glad we did, because it looks like I've been a good boy this year, and Santa did bring me the Marvel Legends Crystar. I had ordered this from Amazon. It was due in February, and as soon as I got home, about an hour later, this showed up. I was so surprised and happy. Yeah, this is Crystar from the Saga of Crystar toy line from 1982 or 3, something like that. I know I was like in the 2nd grade or something like that when it came out. And it was definitely one of my favorite figures back then. It was one of the like OGs of the translucent figure styles, and when I saw Pixel Dan's announcement that Hasbro was going to release this, I was so thrilled. I was shocked, because I never thought I'd see this character again. First of all, I had no idea this was even a Marvel's property. I thought it was just its own toy line, but apparently no, the rights belong to Marvel Comics, and he had a very limited run. They never did the cartoon, so it didn't have the staying power of like Motu or Thundercats or anything like that, but he did come out about the same time, and he was really one of the original styles of sword and sorcery type figures, and Hasbro announced that they were making it, and I was so happy. When I saw the Pixel Dan video of what it looked like, I couldn't believe it. I was giddy like a little kid, because this is an exact. I had that figure, and I had most of his army, and I had the bad guys, and so you know, seeing it, it's almost a 1-for-1 duplicate of the original characters. Let's take a quick look at the back of the box before I open it up. So apparently this was art from the #1 comic. Apparently it had like a 11 or 12 issue run back in the 80s. Obviously I was too small to like get into those. I'd never read it. I didn't know it even existed. But here's the little write-up. Crystar is the Prince of Crystallium. He leads an elite team of crystal warriors against the threat of chaos. Now, the army that they were fighting against was an army of molten lava characters. And they were being led by Crystar's brother. Apparently they were both humans at first, and they got into some kind of family feud, I guess over the throne, when their father passed away. And Crystar became crystal form, and his brother became the molten lava form. You know, very much like a Thor and Loki story arc. Yeah, very cool. Came out with these amazing characters. All right, so let's open it up and see what we got going here. All right, so here he is, Crystar out of the box. This here is part of the Build-A-Figure for this wave. I don't care anything about this. I think the character is called the Void or something like that. I don't care anything about this, so I'm probably gonna just try to use this with another figure, because I have no desire to collect the rest of this line to build this figure. But it does kind of look really cool. It is translucent, looks like, you know, crab legs of some kind. So that comes as part of the package. But my big thing here is Crystar himself. Let's take a closer look at the figure. This is fantastic. He reminds me so much of the figure from when I was a kid. It's a very cool translucent figure. The joints are pinless, which is kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that at all. I had a bunch of the original figures, and they only had like 7 points of articulation. It was just the head, the shoulders, the leg, and the boots. So, you know, having a more modern version with all these articulation points is really, really cool. His waist goes back and forward really nicely. His head also has good up and down movement. One thing about this figure is that in the vintage figure, the helmet could come off. Now in this figure, that's not possible. They glued the helmet on, but that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't need to come off. Let me see if I can get his eyes are like a little white, but I don't know if that's coming through on the video because of his translucent nature. But as you can see your hand through it. The middle has the most clear portion of the body, because you can see like they had a lot of the mechanics of the way the figure is built in. There's a lot of that's just in there for you to see, but you know what? It's really cool. There's really kind of no other way to do this style of figure. But take a look. This is really, really cool. This is an absolute like 1-for-1 of what the figure looked like as the vintage figure. And he comes with the open palm and a fist, and then he also has 2 gripping hands, one for the shield, which I've already put on the shield, and one for the sword. Crystar sword is really cool. Looks very much like a crystal version of the power sword from He-Man. Yeah, I'm just so happy with this because this really like calls back to the 80s sword and sorcery fantasy figures. And like I said, I used to have this figure. So seeing him make a comeback under Marvel Legends is really cool. All right, so here he is alongside some of his other 80s sword and sorcery brethren. We have the 40th anniversary He-Man here, and the Super 7 Thundercats Lion-O. This is the mirror Lion-O, but the regular Lion-O is basically the same, just in blue. This one I got on sale. So this is my Lion-O, and as you can see, he fits perfectly well within this sword and sorcery genre. Again, one of the cool things with this figure was back in the day, there were a couple of other translucent figure properties, like Tron and so on. And then there was also Dungeons and Dragons. So I used to have my Crystar and his Crystal Warriors and the Molten Rock Warriors. You know, just be a part of those worlds when I used to play, you know, doing some kind of fantasy aesthetic storyline, some sword and sorcery storyline. And I'm really super happy with this. This is amazing. This brings back so many feelings for me to have these three lined up together. You know, when Masterverse introduced this Sunman, when I found out that Motu actually went ahead and purchased that line, that IP, I thought that was fantastic, and I was hoping that would open up Mattel to other IPs. Some of the things that I would like to see in Masterverse was Crystar. Crystar was one of those, but there were other Remco figures like the Lost World of the Warlords, which if Mattel can get those, or because that's also a DC line, if McFarlane can produce some of those warriors, I would actually go ahead and get some of those as well, just to help build out more of this 1980s sword and sorcery figures. I think that would be amazing. One of the other type of figures that Remco produced back in the World of the Warlord days was Conan the Barbarian. And as you can see, McFarlane did a Fight the Frozen Batman, which I was able to take the Vicron head, put it on this body, and create my own version of Conan. So again, filling out my 80s sword and sorcery fantasy line. There's only a few more type of figures left, such as like the Warlord, and maybe some Battle Beast from Remco as well. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this look at Crystar. Definitely one of my favorite figures, probably one of the figures of the year for me, even though he's coming in at the very end of 2023. He's definitely amazing, and he's definitely going to be on that list for me. This was just such a shock to my system to have all these 80s style sword and sorcery characters back together, like I had them when I was a kid. Hopefully somebody will get into making like the World of the Warlord characters, and I would also like to see John Blackstar being made again, so that way I can really build out my 80s sword and sorcery heroes line. But in any case, this is a fantastic new addition to my new Eternia Defenders, and I am so happy that they made this. He's a little smaller than the Masterverse figures, but he's about the same size as the Thundercat, and he's just amazing. His detail and everything is really cool. So I'm glad to have gotten him. I'm glad I got him a little early, and again, wishing you and yours a very happy new year. I'm glad I was able to end this year with a positive video. I didn't like the fact that my last video was a little bit negative. I don't like to do negative reviews. I tend to just not do reviews. And if I don't like the figure, but also I had no idea that there was a whole, business model of just bootlegging high-end figures. That's pretty crazy to me, that these companies don't go after these bootleggers like that. But I guess there's a market for it. So so yeah, lesson learned on that one. But back to Crystar. I'm glad to have him. I'm glad Hasbro did him. Hopefully they'll make the other characters. I would love to have Warbow, the other Crystal Warriors, alongside the Moltar, his brother, and the Molten Lava Warriors. Oh, can you imagine if they do the Crystal Dragon and the Lava Dragon? Oh my God, I would love it. I would totally get them, because I had the Crystal Dragon as a child. So I would love if they redid those, bring them back. That would be amazing. But in any case, thank you for joining me in this video. And if you like this style of video, please give me a like and subscribe. And look forward to seeing you in my next video in 2024. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.